How bad will filing bankruptcy hurt your credit? My name is Jeff Kelly. I'm a Georgia bankruptcy attorney. I've been practicing for about 22 years. And in this video, I'm going to attempt to answer that question. Now, what I tell my clients is, when I get that question, and I get it a lot, my goal is to take expectations and just beat them into the ground. So I tell people, I don't know how bad we're going to hurt your credit, but whatever the maximum amount of damage that we can possibly do to your credit, that's what's about to happen when you file this case. Any questions? I want to set the expectations low when we file when it comes to credit. Now, having said that, a lot of people will come back and say, no, wait a minute. How did my friend rebuild their credit by filing Chapter 7? And I tell people I don't think rebuild is the right way to look at it. I think it's better to say, I got a fresh start. And for a lot of people, when you're starting from ground zero, that's much better than starting at negative 50,000. Another thing along the lines of credit, what really surprises me is that many times the people who are the most hung up on the credit question and the most upset about it are people who have no credit. No joke. I have people who come in and they're so concerned about their credit, and I'm like, wait a minute here, you've got 5 judgments. You've been garnished now for the past year. You got to be kidding me, right? Sometimes I say you got to be kidding me because my son, who's now grown, when he was a little kid, he would watch Tennessee football with me, and it was so cute. He would get really upset and he would scream at the TV, "You got to be kidding me!" So every time a client comes in and asks me a crazy question, I just picture him saying, "You have got to be kidding me." Yeah, I mean, why are people who have no credit so hung up with credit? And I suspect, don't have any facts to back this up, but I think there's this myth out there that in order to be financially successful, you've just got to have this amazing, great credit. Well, it's not true. What you have to have cash if you want to be financially successful. You have to have positive cash flow, meaning at the end of every month, you've got more cash coming in than you have going out. And for most people with bad credit scores, that's not the case. And the reason is because interest rates can just sneak up on you and just literally steal your money. So a couple of points I want to cover here. Yes, it's true that bankruptcy will stay on your credit report for 10 years. Does that mean it's going to be 10 years that you can't have any credit? No. When do people start rebuilding their credit? Usually right after their case discharges, which is typically about 90 days after you file. Now, having said that, people who file Chapter 7 have to be extremely careful because you can only file Chapter 7 once every 8 years, and there are lots and lots of unscrupulous creditors out there who would love to sucker you back into debt knowing they've got 8 years to garnish your wages, clean out your checking account. You got to be careful. How easy is it to buy a car after filing bankruptcy? The number one factor that's going to determine that is what is your monthly income and how much down payment are you going to be able to put down on that car. I see clients all the time. They'll go out and buy brand new cars with a dealership after filing Chapter 7, like within a few months. So personally, I don't recommend that. The best kind of car on planet Earth is the one that's paid for. Personally, I think it's better to drive the clunkiest car that you possibly can and save your money for good things like your 401k and down payment on your house. Speaking of houses, that's another common question is, after I file Chapter 7, how soon can I buy a house? And, typically when clients do it, it's about 2 years after filing. But again, the down payment is so important. And I've heard many mortgage experts say, hey, if you can't save 10% down to put on a house, you probably shouldn't be buying it. Because when you buy a house, you could potentially get hit with some crazy expense, new roof, new air conditioning unit, so forth, and on and on and on. You got to have positive cash flow. And if you're in a position where you can't ever save money, ever, you're not going to be able to buy a house because you're not going to be able to save enough to get to that down payment part. Credit score versus cash. I really think people should be a lot more concerned about cash than credit. So think of it this way. If you could establish an emergency fund, let's just say $5,000 that you never touched, and you only use it for true emergencies, you would never need a credit card again. You would never need to get a loan from Security Finance or World Finance or Republic Finance, all these finance companies. You wouldn't need those guys because you would have cash in your account to cover those emergencies, and you would save a fortune over your lifetime. If you've got any questions about debt, don't hesitate to give me a call. You can reach me at 770-881-8449. Check out my website, www.kellycanhelp.com, and I've got podcasts at kellybankruptcy.com. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.